Hello, this is the Real TomTom. Welcome to Race 15, the Singapore Grand Prix of this F1 Multiplayer Championship that I am doing on the F1 2016 game. So this week, I don't get off to the best of starts. I've qualified down in 16th. I let go of the cross button, basically the clutch button. I wasn't trying to get away, I just let go because I was trying to bring up the car condition menu, and it gave me a drive-through penalty for jump starting despite not moving. So that was fun. So I've already put myself into a bit of a position, and of course then in my frustration of getting that start, I avoid the first set of problems, come across a second and get some damage to my front wing. So already after the first lap, while making the places up a little bit, I am going to be now going through the pits at least twice very quickly. Once obviously for the pit stop where it will fix my wing, and then to do the drive-through penalty, which is frustrating, but you know, you live and learn. However, starting down in about 16th, I'm now all the way up to 14th, which again is nothing to do with my driving skill, all to do with the other people spinning out, crashing out. And like Monaco, this is a very tight, sort of twisty track. In the real Grand Prix, again, it's very processional in that there's no overtaking places, or at least there's very few. There's like one straight that it kind of happens on. The corners are very tight. It's very, very unforgiving with the walls. So, alright, it does happen in the game, but there is no forgiving. And you'll notice as this goes on, a few people do retire from the race, I think by their own admission, from some silly little mistakes. So it's telling me I've got to serve my drive-through penalty. I think I mentioned in a previous video where you get a drive-through and maybe you've got damage or your tyres are worn. What I find annoying, I did try and look while driving, is there any way where you can nominate to do the drive-through first or do the pit stop first or whatever it might be. So here we go, into the pits. I had set up for the automatically slow down. Did that, luckily, otherwise it would have been another drive-through, or at least a sort of time penalty. I get put onto the soft tyres rather than the super soft or the ultra soft. So this is the hardest compound for this particular weekend race. And away we go again, but I've still got that drive-through to serve on lap 3 it will be when we get round to it. So here we come into the pits for lap 3. I am now doing the drive-through penalty, and as you'll see there, top left, I am now back down to 17th place in super soft tyres out of 17 currently. So there is very little wear on the tyres at the moment, and away we go. Now for me, this was actually a pretty uneventful race. I've left in sort of my biggest mistakes to show you those. But yeah, I don't see many people, and again when I do, they're mostly blue flags. There's no kind of... The most action I had was at the very beginning there, but even then that was not enough to warrant anything. And obviously I've sort of screwed myself over with the fact that in the first 3 laps I've had to do 2 pit stops. Where I didn't need to do either of them, because I could have drawn the previous stint out and not changed for the new wing, and then obviously the drive-through itself. So how are we doing? I am currently 25 seconds down on P16. Oh, sorry, P15. I don't know where I made up that singular place. I think Dino may have crashed out already, but I overshoot the corner. So again, that gives me a whole bunch more time for them to get good laps in. So Dean hasn't crashed out at this point, at least, but it says he has a time penalty. I do find it quite amusing, as don't worry if he overtakes you, kind of thinking that I'll be able to keep pace with the car that overtakes me, which we all know is not the case. So there were a lot of time penalties, I believe, at the end of this one. My only penalty was the drive-through at the beginning, so I served that sort of pretty much straight away. So we're on to lap 6 now. I'm up into 16th still, and you'll see now coming, I have some dots behind me. They are for blue flagging purposes. again, it's trying to work out where best to move over. So I move over to the left in a moment, and it's probably out of this corner. I get over to the left to give him the space, but actually it's a fairly short straight, and it's then pushing myself up wide to make sure I don't sort of cut in on Dean and take the racing line. But it was not the best position for me to have taken there. It probably would have been better to wait for a little bit, but no harm, no foul, and I make it through. So lap 7, still 16th, and I'm 43 seconds now behind 15th, and again make a really stupid error. Notice though that the dots are coming up closer this time than they were before, so don't go all the way back out. Give them a bit of space. Do an Austin Powers-esque 45-point turn to get my car out and running again, and also dropping a huge chunk of time to it. So another blue flag, get over and get out of the way, and then you'll see I think it's 3 cars that go past me at the moment. One of them is my teammate. So already by lap 7, P8 has lapped me. I am doing phenomenally well, I think you'll agree. I think the message I got from the engineer there about the brake temperatures and stuff was where I was braking and accelerating quickly while trying to let them go past, and it obviously said, oh, your brake temperatures aren't good. But that doesn't matter. So here we go, still on lap 8, and it's going to the virtual safety car. So what I decide to do, as you can see there, my tyre wear percentages aren't that high at the moment for the 8 laps, but because it's a virtual safety car, I kind of figure now is the time to come in and do another pit stop and get that out of the way. I've already been on the red walled tyre, so I don't officially need to use any other tyres. Because I am a fairly hard wearer on the tyres, I wasn't going to make it to the end. I figure a brand new set of Super Softs will hopefully get me through to the end, and maybe something can happen from that. I am, as you can see now, P15. I think Robbie crashed out as well. He's 25 seconds behind me, so that would make about enough sense, and I am 1:43 behind P14. So again, not doing amazingly well. You can see now by lap 20 I am up to 13th place. Again, as you can see there, it's 13 of 13, so I am still plumb last, but other people have been crashing out. In that time I have done a little bit of damage to my front wing, but only minor. It's another virtual safety car, but this time I elect not to come into the pits. I am going to string out these tyres as best I can. The most this time is my front right. Usually it's my front left. This time it's front right, and so I think I can still make it round. Singapore appears to be a very very low tyre wearing track. Some people were complaining about the soft tyres and the handling. I think for them and for those people that are racing really well with it, they probably aren't the best tyre to be on. You'll probably get better time with a couple of sets of ultra softs and a super soft tyre. However, for my purposes, I figured that the soft was probably just about right for me to kind of plod through till the end. Blue flag. I then realised he was going to go through, so made sure I'd left the space. Really get close to some of these walls and try and back off and just about clip an apex or almost clip the wall. But yeah, it's quite a fun track. I did the time trial and really enjoyed Singapore. Actually, it's got a lot of places that you can find time if you do well with it. If you hit the corners perfectly, you get a lot of time. We've now edited through to lap 26, and you may have just noticed down screen, it's not a glitch, it is rain, and I had no tyre grip. There is a little bit of grease and water on the road, and I take off my front wing. Luckily, I am this close to this sort of the pit lane that I'm able to come in and not have to crawl around an entire lap with no downforce and no grip. So come into the pits to make my is this fourth pit stop? The third pit stop? Third or fourth pit stop. probably about the 4th time at least going through the pit stops with that drive-through. So we go on, and I'm going to change to the intermediate tyres. Now, mine does change to the intermediate, so that's fine. They changed the front wing. That's really good. I know a few people came in for wets and got fitted with ultra soft tyres, which was unfortunate for them. So you can see there, Eagle is in 7th position. Now, in just a second, I think he is on the ultra soft tyres, maybe the soft tyres, or sorry, the super soft tyres, and loses grip and spins out. Now, I am in 10th. Wixie, there you go, he loses it a little bit and is out of the race. You can see his tyre there hanging off from the front right, which is really unfortunate when you're this close to the end of the race. It's not what you want to do. And again, I think he was on lap 30 of 31, whereas I'm on 27, so he's lapped me by about 2 laps. It is now very close to the end, so although officially I have a few laps left, Crazy Legs finishes, wins the race, but I am lucky enough to pass where Eagle was when he crashed out and unlap myself. So it really was a close call to me staying in 10th despite Eagle not completing the race, but I'm able to make it up to 9 of 9. Which for me gets me that a few extra points, but it's really sort of harsh and unfair for Eagle there, where he was so close to finishing the race. I just got lucky with getting through the start-finish when I did to start and complete this lap, despite the race now being sort of officially over. So I won't get to the full 31. I never make the full race completion, but I was able to unlap myself and climb those ever so useful points boards. I will have to try and find for maybe the start of the next video the point score and where everyone is sitting. I'm not last, I know that much, but I'm definitely nowhere near the top with maybe the double-digit points in total I've scored over the entire season. As always, the struggling grip levels I have with the intermediate and wet weather setups, I think I'd set to sort of 1 downforce, so like 1 click to the left when you do the automatic car setup choices. It's not the balanced and it's not for fast, I got 1 for downforce. I figured despite this being a fairly straight circuit, if rain came I need to be able to get around. Although you see me pass the car there, which was a number 8 Wixie, he had already lapped me I think twice, meaning that unlapping myself in that instance wasn't unlapping myself completely, which was a bit of a shame. I kind of felt that I might do, but I really didn't. So anyway, that was the Singapore Grand Prix. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to watch the full one, I'll link that as an end screen annotation. It's up there in the playlists as well. If you like what I do, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to suggest anything else you'd like to see from the videos I've done. I've done one recently on the best gears to use, or if you're a new racer like me, or just a terrible racer more like me, do you want to use auto gears, manual gears? That video is now up, and I have a few others that I'm going to be going through as well. So thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe,